Hi, I'm Heather Noel from theGivingGameFoundation.com. You're about to hear a private session that brought about a great deal of emotional healing. If you listen carefully, you will see that this session is a blueprint that you can apply to yourself. Okay, Audra, it's your turn. Let's see what happens. Okay, so you're going back to the first time you can remember feeling fear, right? Fear was your thing, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first time you can remember feeling fear, and it may be before that because you probably felt fear and just don't remember, but just let your imagination go back to the first time you can imagine that you felt fear.
Okay, I'm there.
Okay, good. All right, so how old are you and what's happening?
I'm pretty much 3, and I was in an accident at home.
Okay, and what was the accident?
My grandpa ran me over with his tractor, and I was penned in between the table, a table, and the tractor.
Okay. All right. Okay. So there's 2 ways we can do this. You can come in right there. In fact, let's do this because we want to deal with this, okay? All right.
Yeah.
So while you're pinned there, you're going to show up as your future self. And you might look like an angel to her. And you're going to just do what, you're going to literally say, you're okay. You're going to be just fine. You're okay. Did any major, what happened after you had this accident? Did you have to go to the hospital and did you have
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you still have any problems from it?
I did for when I was in high school. I was dealing with it, and I did a angel clearing session with a lady, which helped. But since then, it's been good. But then, man, that fear came up today, and I was like, man, I do stuff that I think I denied it. Every once in a while, it pops up. Yeah.
Okay.
But I want.
Okay.
But I want to get rid of it. So.
Okay. So let's go back. I just wanted to see if it's still affecting you, or if it affected your body physically, just so I know how to walk you through this. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
it did.
So, okay. So, give me just a minute. I want to see where I want to take you here. Hold on, wait a minute. I'm actually I want to have you go back into a past life as well. Because this thing with your grandpa, it's what I call a cosmic setup. This is the kind of thing that you set up intentionally. And now it's hard to believe, but there's a reason. So we'll find out. We're going to go back into your past life. We're going to do the same thing. So you just hold that feeling of fear, and you're going to ask to be shown a relevant lifetime that will help you understand that fear and why you chose to go into that feeling of fear, right? So you're going to go down through the tunnel. You're going to see light. And you're going to look down at your feet. And what do you see?
Okay, I see bare feet with shoes, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I'm holding shoes, so I kind of see both now.
But are you boy or girl, male or female, man or woman?
I think I'm a boy.
Just make it up.
More like a young teen boy.
A young teen boy, and you've got shoes, but they're not on your feet. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now look around your environment. Just see where you are. What time period do you think you're in?
For some reason, I want to say the 1900s.
Okay. Like early 1900s? Or
Yeah.
mid-1900s? Like, where are you?
I think so. I'm standing on some grass.
Okay, so look at the shoes that you're carrying. Your shoes will give you an idea of where you're at, or like what time frame you're in. What do the shoes look like?
Brown leather, kind of cracked, and pretty simple.
Okay, so now look at yourself and just see, like, what clothing are you wearing. Get a sense of yourself. How old are you? What do you get?
For clothing, I feel like it's like a oversized jacket, and then just like an old pair of pants. Like everything's kind of like a dark gray.
Okay.
And I think 13 or 14, maybe 15.
Okay, so you're young. Okay, so you're young. Okay, great. And so now so how do you feel? Are you fearful right now, or are you just feel okay because you're like 13, 14? Do you have anything you're afraid of at this point?
No, I think I'm okay on this age.
Okay. So now go forward in time until something changes. It's like a major change.
Okay, I think I started working somewhere.
Okay. And what's your job?
I'm not sure if this lines up with the time, but I feel like it might be that Industrial Revolution. So,
Mm-hmm. Right?
So it's like,
so
it's factory.
Yeah, factory. Okay, so it's Industrial Revolution. Okay. And then, so you're working in a factory, so you're at least you're over 18 probably at this point, or maybe you're still young because you could have started working at 16. So how old do you think you are at this point?
Maybe 18 to 20.
Okay. All right, so go forward in time until something changes.
I think I met someone.
Okay, so you meet someone and you start to date, and what happens?
I think we just keep dating.
Okay.
For some reason, I'm seeing like a horse carriage for some reason.
Okay. So you're probably in the late 1800s or something like that, right? Or the 1800s somewhere. Okay, good. Okay, so keep going. So you see a horse in a carriage, and you're dating somebody, and go forward, and what happens? And by the way, get a sense of so if you're working in it, so you don't have very much money, right? Because you're working in a factory. Now, I'm assuming you're working as a worker, but do you have a higher level, or are you a worker?
I feel like I'm a worker.
Okay, great. So now what happens as you go forward? Do you get married?
I don't know. I feel like potentially.
Okay. Let me ask you something. Is there any kind of a war going on at this time, or is it peaceful?
I'm not sure. There might be something going on.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you feel yourself going into the military at any point?
Maybe.
Okay. Don't worry about it. You're just making it up, remember? So you're not trying to get this right. You're just making stuff up. Okay?
Okay.
But here's what happens. Sometimes something traumatic happens, And then all of a sudden you're like, well, I don't know, and I can't see, and like you know what I mean? So I don't know what it is, but I feel like there's something here that, there's a part of your mind that will try to protect you, right? So it's like, oh, we're not going to go there. So I don't know what it is, but I'm just bringing up a few possibilities in case but let's go back in, and now just hold this thought. I'm willing to see whatever this was. Whatever it was in this lifetime, I'm willing to see it. Okay? So, because it's a big fear, and this fear that it's going to be something that is going to be traumatic because that's what you've experienced, right? So let's see if there is a traumatic fear that comes up, some trauma that causes you to feel fearful. And listen, if it doesn't work out, you don't see it, don't worry, we'll just go right back into this lifetime. But I just wanted to cover this base and see if there's something else here before we go do the other lifetime, your current lifetime. Okay? Okay. So you're young, you're dating, and you're working in a factory. Go forward in time like you're watching a movie. Imagine it just kind of fast forwarding, and then it's going to stop where something happens. So it stops, and what do you see?
The factory had maybe a fire or some sort of incident.
And what happened to you?
I feel like maybe me and a bunch of workers were stuck somewhere. With fire.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm getting emotional.
Yeah. Okay, so you died there, didn't you? And that's why you can't see what happened with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay. So what did you do? Did you stay in the astral plane, or did you go to the other side? So the astral plane means that you would have gone back to see your girlfriend. You would have been at your own funeral. That's the astral plane. Okay? Did you stay in the astral plane, or did you go back? Did you go to the other side?
I feel like I went straight to the other side.
Okay. And what was your experience when you got there?
I think I just wanted the answers to look back.
Okay. So you were still attached, right? Like you went to the other side, but you were still attached to this side. Like you were looking for answers and why this and what happened. Is that what you're saying?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So you're capable of being on the other side and being conscious of what's going on here, right? You can show up. That's how, you don't have to be stuck in the astral plane. You can be present, here on this side, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So imagine, did he come back to see his girlfriend?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. And what happened?
I think I watched over her sometimes and maybe guided a little bit on wanting to make sure she moved forward in her life.
Yep. Okay. So, but did it still seem confusing to you, like you didn't know why things happened the way they did, and were you still kind of, or did it get better, or what happened for you at that point? When you were watching over her, did it still feel like a certain senselessness to it? Was there something that happened with her that you felt like responsible for? For instance, if someone dies, you can feel abandoned even though it's not their fault. You can feel abandoned or whatever. She may have, like what was she experiencing that he was feeling? Did he feel responsible for how she was feeling?
I'm not sure if this applies, but I feel like I made a promise that I didn't get to keep. Like, okay. I'm not sure if I promised something and, like, it was maybe we were going to be together and whatnot. Because I almost feel like it's like she found another man. Almost. So.
Right. And how did you feel about that?
I feel like I wanted her to be happy, but I also wish that I could have been there too. That it was me instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so as you go forward in time here, from all this experience that you're having, notice that you had a lot of help on the other side, but there was something that maybe you weren't really listening to, right? So in other words, you would have had the ability to see this very differently, but you were still really kind of stuck in 3D, let's put it that way, like you really wanted back into the game. You see this? Like you can tell it's a game. You know it's a game. You know that it's not real, but you wanted back in. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, when you leave the game, so go back to when you were in this place and you were dying, and that fear of dying. Okay? So just can you tune into how much fear you were feeling at that point? When the whole place was burning? Yeah. A lot,
yeah.
right?
Like
a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So and when you look at how much fear you were feeling then, how does that compare to the fear that you felt as a little girl when your grandpa ran over you?
Pretty big. Like,
yeah, same. Is it pretty much the same? Right? The same kind of feeling, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what you have to understand. You left the game in that lifetime because in that incident with that emotion, you had to come back in and create a scenario in which you would feel the same emotion in order to work through it this time. That's how the game works, because you want to get to the next level, right? Because you knew that, okay, so this is what we're going to do. You have two choices. You can either not have that experience at all and have the life that you wanted to have, or you can go and show up for yourself like an angel before he dies. I'd suggest this one, actually. Show up for him. So imagine him, the place is burning down, he's going to die, but you show up and you create this bubble around him of absolute calm. And you say, and you just show him. Like you can do this intuitively, right? So like a psychic can, like if you have psychic connection with someone, you can show them, and you can just be his angel, show him you're going to die, but you don't need to be afraid. And it's all going to work out. And just work with him. And you can do this, like I said, it can be very quick, but you can just create this bubble where all of a sudden he feels calm, he feels love, he remembers he's playing a game, and he doesn't have to die in that kind of trauma. That he's played this game so many times, and you always die out of the game, right? And you just go, look, I know that you've got a girlfriend, you got this whole thing lined up, but this game lifetime was meant to be just like this. You set it up this way because you have been traumatized in death so many times, it's gotten you stuck having traumatic deaths. Now, when I say that, can you feel the truth of that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if you were to think back and go, oh, I've had other traumatic deaths, you could see them just lining up, lots of them. Like, I think, let yourself, so let yourself just look for a moment without traumatizing yourself any further. Look at all the traumatic deaths you've had. Lots.
Yeah.
Like, tell me what you see.
For some reason I feel in
you feel what?
in like a prison cell almost? Or
Yep. So you've died in a prison cell. Just let yourself see it like it's going past you fast, so you don't have to be upset by it. But let it go boom, 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 boom. And how many really traumatic deaths do you see? You don't have to come up with a number, but do you get a sense of how many traumatic deaths you've had?
For some reason, I saw the number 50. I'm not sure.
That's okay. Don't worry about that. I'm not trying to get you to come up with a number. I'm just trying to help you see that you've had a lot of. You don't just die. You have died traumatically many times. Okay. Probably had your head cut off, got hung, this, that, the other. You just got a lot. You probably were a warrior at times. But they were traumatic. That's what I get. Like they look traumatic, not just like you died of natural causes or something, right? So there's a lot of trauma. Okay, so look, basically you set this all up, and you could have died at 3 really easily when that happened, right? It's a miracle that you didn't. Okay? Now I'm going to show you the miracle of why you didn't die. Ready?
Mhm. Yep.
You yourself, right now, are going back to that time with your little girl, and you're going to change it. You're going to change it, and you're going to go, I'm here to protect you. And you're going through this for a reason. Because you could go before that timeline and stop it from happening at all. You could actually shut it down and make it so it never happened. But you see, if you did that, then you wouldn't have resolved this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what you're going to do is you're going to resolve this throughout time, space, and all dimensional realities. Now, you've informed yourself when you're dying in the fire. Notice that you put this gold light around. You've created this energy so he can see the truth, that he came in to have this experience because he kept leaving off in trauma, and you can't rise to a higher level of the game unless you come in where you started. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you came in as a little girl, and what did you do? You set it up this way. And if it hadn't been that, it would have been something else, because you had to feel the trauma and come out the other side to play it at a different level going forward. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense.
So now, yeah, right? Okay, so now you go back to your, go to your little girl, and you're just going to put a tube of light on everything. And you're going to see nothing but love. And just go, there's nothing but love here. All is well. And nothing can harm you. Now really get to who you are. You are not your body. You can never be harmed. You saw it in a traumatic way, but like right now, notice that all is well. And you tell her that it is all is well. And you set this up because you don't want to keep going through traumatic stuff, right? So we got this all, you decided to get it over with at a very early age. Let's just get it over with, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's look at your grandfather for a minute. How did that happen? What was going on with him?
We don't know. We think he might have had a stroke when it happened, and he wasn't coherent. And we could never get a straight answer out of him or my grandma.
Okay, so have they both passed on?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's bring Grandpa into this. So bring Grandpa to you right now. Just say, Grandpa, come talk to me. Because it would have been part of the plan anyhow, so he can't screw up, right? You're just going to imagine it. You're just going to pretend like you're writing a story, right? And what does Grandpa have to say to you? What happened?
Right, he didn't do it on purpose.
Of course not. And you know that, right? So you know that, right? But what else does he not want to tell you? What happened?
But it was all everything's part of a plan.
Uh-huh. It was an agreement, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, go back to the others. Go ahead, keep going.
Oh, and that it doesn't have to keep going on and on. So
We
can end it. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, let yourself go back to before you were born. You and Grandpa are sitting in front of the cosmic galactic computer planning out your life. And you both know that you've had trauma after trauma after trauma of death, right? And you know that what you want to do in this lifetime is you want to have that traumatic thing without dying, but you want to go through the trauma so you don't have to die that way again because you'd like to move forward. Can you see yourself making that agreement with him?
Yeah.
Yeah, and can you see him promising to do that for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, and you listen, you programmed that right into this program. You programmed it. It was, so in other words, he didn't think, okay, how can I kill her without killing her? How can I just traumatize her but I won't kill her, right? And it'll be an accident. Like, you can't think this stuff through. It's part of the program. It's just programmed to do that. It's a cosmic setup. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, he has a part of that cosmic setup too. So there was something that was really important to him that he agreed to play that part, because everything is a win-win. It wasn't just about you.
Right.
So there was something that he was working through. And what was that?
Something emotional thing. I feel like some sort of, maybe he was learning how to forgive himself or something.
That's right. And let go of guilt, right? Guilt's a tough one, isn't it? Yeah. So, and nothing like guilt with someone that you really love, and to physically harm someone as innocent and young as you, right? I mean, we harm people with our words, or we might harm people accidentally, but, you know, I mean, there's really, if you want to get over guilt and that kind of thing, nothing like running over a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, there's like how are you going to get her out of that, right? Okay. So you can see that your grandpa had to love you a lot to play that part, and that he had some work. Like, if I was to take your grandpa and go back into his last lifetime, you would see another lifetime where there was like severe guilt. Severe guilt, like he had done something to somebody that caused him to feel so guilty. By the way, have you finished listening to the game?
Not quite. I've been meaning to all week, and I got sidetracked.
Well, have you gotten to the part where she goes into the dark realms, and she goes back into these past lives with Thomas and Matthew? Have you gotten there yet?
Not quite.
Okay, listen. When you get there, you're going to go, oh my God. You're going to understand stuff from this session in that session. You're going to get it. I mean, in the story. Be sure you get there. It's called the Spirit World. It comes up after and I don't know if you guys skipped it in the game. So it'll be really interesting to see if it's something that you skipped in the process of playing the game, because I think you did. And so it'll give you a whole understanding of this. Okay? But here's the thing. Your grandpa knows that it's not necessary, like this. There's you just add love into all of this, and it all goes right. And you seeing what you see today, see how your grandpa feels about you coming into a new understanding of what happened. What do you see from him? What is he showing you?
I feel like, I feel like we're on the same page now, and for some reason I see him smiling, and it's no longer like some fear related thing.
It's some big mystery. Like, why did Grandpa do that? Now you're going, oh my God. I didn't see that coming, right?
Yeah. I've always wanted to know why, because I know that you hear, oh, you create your reality. I'm like, I was like, how? And I feel like it's nice to know why now. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so take a breath. And now if you look at all of this, you can really see that there is nothing to fear, is there? Because what's the ultimate thing we fear? Death, right? Well, not me. I'm not afraid of death. I'm just like, no suffering allowed. But you can kill me. That's no problem. But not the suffering part, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now you just help your little girl. So you're just going to be there as this angel. You literally lovingly take her out. So she doesn't even have to wait. You're just going to just pick her right up, take her out of there, and love her, and just imagine her being completely healed. Right? No need to go through the hospital stuff, none of it. You're just going to be completely healed by this angel. It's like this full-on miracle. The family can hardly believe it. And it's just all love and light, right? And Grandpa, you are so understanding of everything as a little girl that you imagine going up to your grandpa, holding his hand, and just communicating to him that it's all okay and that nothing happened, that you're fine, right? So that he doesn't even have to have any trauma himself over, his guilt and all that about what happened to you and going to the hospital and blah, blah, blah. It never happens. It never happens. You shut down that timeline. You open up a brand new timeline where, Mom, this angel showed up, and she just picked me right up out of there and stopped the tractor, and it never happened, and it's okay. Everything's okay. Let yourself feel that as a little girl. And now you're shutting down the old timeline. You do not need to take that one anymore. You open up the new timeline where all is well.
I feel immediately like a huge, I don't know if it's huge or subtle, but this lightness kind of in my chest where it's lifting. Yeah.
And you know why? You want to know why? Because it's not real. It was never real. Love is the only thing that's real. Literally, it's the only thing that's real in this game is love and your experience of love. So what we did was we dropped an old timeline that wasn't real, because fear isn't real, right? It's just part of the game. We're like, okay, I played that game. Don't need to play that game again. So now here I am, just doing the love thing, right? Yeah. And it's absolutely real, and that's why you feel it. And now let yourself look back. Now that you've done this, you're healing this throughout time, space, and all dimensional realities, which means that you look back at every single, quote, traumatic death you've ever had, but now you're bringing this energy into it, where every single time that you died, you just have this vision that all is well and that you're playing a game every single time, whether it was a jail cell, whether it was getting hung or your head cut off or whatever, and you just imagine that you just were totally at peace. Like, oh my gosh, there's nothing to fear. my body is not me. And when I die, I just go back to the other side, and I can come back and play this game whenever I'm ready. Can you feel that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now when you look at fear, how do you feel?
More neutral about it.
Yeah. I mean, think about fear. Can you really be neutral about fear? Or does it just disappear? Because you're either afraid or you're feeling love, one or the other. It's not like kind of fearful. You're either feeling fear or you don't feel fear. What do you feel?
I don't feel fear anymore.
So what do you feel?
Like a peace. Kind of like a more peaceful. Yeah, and more peaceful now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? You can amp that up. You can go, I like that feeling. I want more of that. Right?
Yeah.
It's your choice. It's your world. You've never been, this is why you're here. You guys are both here, all of you, all three of you, are here to do the 3D thing. I mean, the 5D thing. You're like, yeah, I don't want it. I'll come in, I'll get a taste of 3D, and then I'm out of there. Right? Well, in this world, there is nothing but love. And right now, you can see that love set everything up, that you chose everything, and it all brought you to this moment. And now when you think back to being a little girl, do you feel traumatized? Do you feel fearful?
No, it's like I'm looking back and I feel calm. Yeah.
Yep. And that's what you're here to do. It's like you're learning to do this for yourself right now, and guess what? Both of you are going to have the ability to help other people do what we just did. You are one of the very few people that have ever gotten to do this. Right? I mean, literally, there are a handful of people I've done this with because I don't work very hard at, being a teacher, mentor, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's like I just work with who I want to work with, And so that's why that's it. I just have a handful of people I like to work with. And I'm like, okay, that's good. Stop right there. So literally, there's only a handful of people that have ever had this experience.
Wow.
So that means that you are in a position that if any time you want to do this or you want to teach another or you teach your own children to do this, you have the tools to do it. Both of you do. And if you just practice, you're going to find that you just know things as you're going along. You'll feel things. You'll learn to do this, and you can practice on yourself. And then once you do that with yourself, you can do this with any emotion. Can you see that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like an awesome, I guess, level up way to clear a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah. So now when we go back to Rebecca and Rebecca saying, okay, so you have to process it, do you see this is like processing stuff like in psychology is like 1%. This is like doing it at 100%, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like there's no well, what does processing mean and how what okay, get therapy. Well, what is that? Therapy, years and years. What do? It's like bam, change the timeline. And it's like,
yeah,
I feel fine, right? That's all it is. We're like, okay, we're taking the back door to the program, we're changing the timeline. And all you have to do is say yes to doing that. Right? All you have to do is go, okay, I'll make that up. I'll imagine it. And then all of a sudden, it's like it's gone. Fear, gone. It's not even there anymore. I can't feel it in you anymore. I look at you energetically, and it's like pink right now. It's like, whoa,
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't feel it either.
Yeah. See? Well, what you're experiencing is brand new here. Like, no, who else teaches this? Nobody, right? That's brand new. And it's like the pathway is opening, and you're being given the opportunity to do this for yourself, and hopefully you might choose to do it for others, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool to help.
Right? I know. Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Do either of you have any questions?
No, but I want to say a huge thank you because I've been for like going round and round with that one. Like I'm over it. It's good. This time it's like it is done. So thank you so much.
Oh gosh, I'm so happy. Yes, I love doing this with you too. You're just amazing, and I'm so glad. And Audra, I'm so glad that we got to this because, a lot of times, it's like Rebecca will talk about something, and then you'll be like, yeah, I agree with all that, and I don't really have much left, And then It's like, oh, but I do have this big trauma from when I was 3 that I've never mentioned in all this time.
Right. Because I guess I was like kind of like, it's a big, this is terrible. It's like, it's a secret, and I don't need to talk about it. I got it until it came up all of a sudden. I'm like, maybe I should mention this.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm glad I did.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and it's all, what I always tell people is like doing this is all about willingness. If you're willing and you go into your imagination, you can heal anything. How great is that? Right? Willingness
really
and
good.
imagination. I know. Like anybody can do it. Yep. Except the unwilling, awesome. And I'm like, nope, you're not willing. Go away. I'm not working with you. But if you're willing, man, I'll help you.
That's good, because then they'll be able to help. They'll be able to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you can. Here's the thing: you can practice on people too. You can say, "Hey, I learned this new technique. I want to try it out on you." So you can just get a friend or a family member and just practice on them. Well, it can't be anybody that, you have to be. It just depends on. It's better to do it with a friend who is happy to say anything, because you'll find that when you're dealing with family, they may have things that they don't want to talk about, they don't want to look at, so their willingness level might be at a different level, or they may have something that they don't really want to talk about. But if you have a friend and you can practice on a friend, it's really fun, because they'll be like, wow, I had no idea.
Wow. Yeah, we'll have to try that out. I'll see if my mom will want to do it. I'll be like,
yeah. Right? Hey, Mom, we want to practice on you. So, well, awesome. Well, I sure appreciate you both, and I will send this off to you when we get off the phone.
Alrighty.
And
well, thank you so much.
You're so welcome, and we'll chat on Sunday. I also wanted to share the messages that I received from Rebecca and Audra. This one's from Rebecca. Dear Heather, thank you so much for today's session. You helped Audra so much. You truly did. Our family had never known why the accident had happened, and now we do. Audra needed to hear what Grandpa had to say. She needed to know he loved her enough to contribute to her soul growth. Today's answers gave her the closure she'd been looking for years. Just listening to her session was healing for me, too. I now think of Grandpa with love and understanding. When you and Audra were working together, I got so many shivers. I can't thank you enough for bringing our family together. And the healing didn't stop there. We had a really nice conversation with our dad afterwards. And as he was talking, I got emotional. I knew then and there I'd healed any past wounds with him. Even hours after our talk, I kept thinking of all the love in my life, and it kept bringing me to tears. Thank you for teaching us how to do a past life regression on our own. We've never done one before, and we're still blown away. It's kind of funny, both of us realized after our chat that we'd picked up on each other. I thought Audra was going to say she was working in a factory, and she did. She knew I was going to be a traveler after I sold my house before I even said it. I just wanted to tell you how much we appreciate our sessions with you. Each one is packed with new tools and amazing information. Seriously, it's priceless. We're never going to forget your kindness. And this is the message from Audra. Heather, I want to give you a big, big hug. Yesterday's call was so healing. Our call gave me that missing piece of the puzzle and closure that I couldn't figure out for the life of me. I always thought that experience was some sort of test or something, and now it makes total sense. Being able to see the clarity out of such a confusing experience is priceless. I brought in my grandpa and younger self last night before bed, and she and him were hugging. Instead of feeling confused about my grandpa, there's nothing but compassion and forgiveness for him in my heart. My younger self and I will work with each other more this week. I cannot thank you enough for helping me heal that part of my past. I've been working on all those emotions for years. Most of it was gone. However, yesterday my body went on red alert for me to mention it. Thank you for all of your wisdom and teachings you've shared with us. You and Amelia are such angels. Bless you both. The reason I wanted to share those messages is because not only are those sessions blueprints that you can apply to yourself and your own life, but I also wanted you to see that the healing continues and that you can continue working with the blueprint that you're going to create for yourself. Thank you so much for joining us at Psychic Insights. You will often hear me refer to life as a game. To understand this concept on a deeper level, listen to The Game audiobook by Heather Noel. There's also a free 60-day eCourse at thegivinggamefoundation.com. Links are in the description box. Be sure you like, comment, subscribe, and click on the bell if you'd like to receive more of these talks. Thank you.